Welcome to Managing My Money with Rosa. Today is October the 17th, and this is my fourth dividend update, week 4 of me sharing my journey of dividends. So about a month ago, I got really serious in looking into dividends as a way of passive income, and I began to grow my portfolio with dividends, and I began sharing at the same time that I began to grow. So in the past, there are two ways in which I have received dividends. The first is cash being deposited directly into my account, and the second is using DRIP, the Dividend Reinvestment Plan. So unintentionally, I, about a year and a half ago, actually started day trading a little here and there, trying to play bounces in the stock, that type of thing. And I bought into Apple because someone said, oh, Apple's such a great stock to own, and you know this and this. And so I bought one stock of Apple, and one doesn't sound like a whole lot, but for me as a beginner with not much of a fund to buy any stocks with, Apple was about $115, $120, and that was expensive, still is expensive in my book. And that meant I could only really afford one share of it. And unintentionally, I bought into my first dividend stock. So I originally was getting deposited into my account. Now Apple was paying 20 whole whopping cents for a dividend, and I really didn't see 20 cents impacting my account. And then about 6 months ago, I decided, maybe I'll try to grow my Apple stock without actually investing more money. And I began to have my 21 cents and 22 cents begin to be reinvested. And that's when I first did my first drip. And you really can't tell 22 cents building an Apple stock that's $120. And it was not anything that I noticed really growth-wise in my Apple stock. I also, at the time, had January, February, March, I actually invested in BTG, Franco-Nevada, and Behringer Gold, the first 3 on this list. And I didn't realize at the time that they were dividend stocks. And again, I had it go into my account, was not reinvesting. I was not using the DRIP method. And none of those were more than $2. $1 here, 90 cents there, nothing huge. And really didn't see any growth there either. And then about a month ago, like I said, I got really serious about investing and finding a new passive income. And that's when I turned it around. I told my brokerage that I wanted them to reinvest. And that's what's been happening since then. So my BTG, my Franco-Nevada, and my Behringer Gold have begun to grow a little, not a whole lot, because they only pay me quarterly. I have since bought into AT&T, Fidelity Utility Company, and ExxonMobil. All of these are quarterly. I also recently bought ARCC, PNNT, OHI, ORCC, and NRZ. And because I'm trying to grow my portfolio account, I wanted to look at monthly dividend-bearing stocks as well. And I've bought into GLAD, ORC, OXSQ, PSEC, AG, NC, and PFLT. So as of today, I have 17 passive income streams. Now, none of them pay me more than $7 when I get a dividend from them, but each of these is beginning to grow independently, and some of them will, of course, outpace the others, and some, it's going to take me a while to grow them just because financially, like ExxonMobil is sitting at 60 something. That's really expensive for me. BTG is sitting at 4 something. That's really cheap for me. So each of these are at a different place, and it depends on the amount of money I have in order to be able to cash on hand that I can invest in these. So if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button down below. If you have subscribed already, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying my journey. Hit the bell for notifications, and as always, I'd love a thumbs up. If there are any stocks that you would invest in, I'd love to hear about them. Drop something in the comments below. So this week, I have no earnings this week. The next project, that's not spelled right. Oops, sorry. The next projected earning is supposed to be October the 21st. The last 2 weeks, I have not had any earnings at all. I've looked into and think I have finally gotten now so that I will get earnings every week. Of course, there are some weeks that'll still, the end of one and the beginning of a week after. So that's all right. But my goal is to begin earning dividends every week. And I think I'm pretty close to that after this week, because this week was about buying more stocks. So I have been actually playing a little in the stock market and those bounces, and sold most recently something and made my 20%. So that gave me cash to be able to go buy dividend bearing stocks. So this week I bought 2 stocks of Owl Rock, 2 stocks of Pennant Park Investment. Oh, it did go forward, sorry. 2 stocks of AG&C, 1 stock of Aries Capital. Now, I tried to get 2, but by the time I made it to Aries Capital, I was broke. I didn't have any money left. So Aries Capital is on hold. I do want to have 2 shares of it though. I bought 2 shares of New Residential, 2 shares of Omega Health Care, and 2 shares of Pennant Park Floating Rate. So my goal right now is to be a little aggressive, and that is to get stocks that have high yield percentage rates of return. So that's what a lot of this is right now, is me looking into and building stocks that have a high rate of return. I also bought into 2 additional things that I already have on hand. I bought $10 more of FUTY. The goal was to get it to $50. It is now at $50. So that's just going to kind of sit and grow. $50 isn't a lot, but it's something to get started with. And then I bought 5 more shares of OXSQ. The goal is to eventually have 150 shares so that every time it gives me a dividend, it actually buys 1 more stock. So I shoot a little high so that hopefully when prices increase, I have enough coming in from that dividend that it can still afford to purchase 1 additional stock. So with this extra 5, I'm now up to 30 point something shares. I got dividends on it last month. So it is beginning to grow itself. So really happy with this one. My goal for next week coming up is to buy 1 more share of AARC, 2 shares of Maine, and 10 more shares of OXSQ. Now, 2 shares of Maine will give me an 18th dividend income that's coming in, and that's where I'm going to stop for a while until I reach a couple of goals for those 18 stocks. Right now, I've only reached 2 goals for my set out of the 17 stocks that I have. So I've got to start building up and growing those other 15 to get where I want them to, plus Maine, and then I'll be done. And that 10 shares of OXSQ, if I can get it this week, that'll put me roughly at 40 shares. So I'm getting closer to that 150 that I want. Now comes money. So I have limited income to start with. I don't have a lot of money to play with. I don't see any of the stocks that I'm holding that I am playing the bounce in. I don't see any of them reaching my 20% goal. Once they do, I will sell them, but I don't see any of them doing that. But fortunately, this week, I should be getting a mileage check from work. The goal is to take $100 of it and put it into stock so that I can buy some more. So we will see how well that goes. This is a screenshot of my current dividend payments received. Now you notice October is blank, and that's because I haven't received anything in the month of October yet. Right now, my goal is to get $10 a month in earnings. It hasn't happened yet, but that's my goal eventually, is to get that $10. So you'll also notice that this chart has grown, and that's because it now includes all 17 of my different stocks. And then this down here is a high interest savings account. There's not a lot in it either, but I'm tracking and watching it grow as time goes on. If you've been watching for the last 3 weeks, you will notice there's a slight change in this. They were about the same. They were both about $5. And that's when I realized I was going back through, double checking everything. And I came to realize that this down here, these three actually are my three gold bearing companies that I bought into in January, February, and March. And I forgot that they're all foreign companies, so I have to pay tax on them. And I wanted to be a true representation of what I brought into my account. And when I realized that I hadn't deducted the tax that I had to pay on it, I went ahead and changed it down to 92 cents. And then this month, they actually gave me a dividend and oh my goodness, all of a sudden I can't remember what it's called. Capital rate return. So it jumped up to $2.61. So that's the journey here and why this looks so different. So quarter one, I made $4.91. Quarter two, $6.93. Quarter three, $8.26 for an average of $2.75 a share. It's not a lot, or $2.75 a month, which is not a lot. But with all of my new investments and all of my new additions this week, I actually changed my goal. So last week, this whole time, my goal has been to make $10 a month. Well, not only am I going to make that $10 a month, I'm going to be over. So I have upped my goal. The goal now is to figure out how to get $20 in monthly income out of dividends. I'm really excited that over the last 4 weeks, I will actually be receiving more than $10 a month. So not enough to live off of right now, but hey, I'm farther than where I started. So my favorite site right now to help me keep track of everything going on with my dividends is Track Your Dividends. Now I don't pay for this. I have the free, so I have ads that come in all of the time, drive me crazy, but that's okay. I have roughly $2,000 inside of here. I have a rate of return of 6.67. However, on cost is 6.47. And then my annual income is $142. Now this yield on cost, why is it lower than my dividend yield? Because remember I told you I bought my three gold mining companies back in January, February, March. Guys, those were close to record highs. So because of that, like BTG, I'm actually $80 down, but that's okay because I don't intend on selling it anyways. It is now to the point where it is purchasing one share every time it reinvests, every time it does a drip. So it's just going to sit and grow, and I'm going to watch this go the other direction. Future value is also something that I like to look at in here. It gives me an idea that right now my growth rate is only 2.33. Eventually, I'd like to see that at like 5. It's okay that it's not there right now. That eventually is one of the goals that I'd like to get that up. This immediately puts in on a 10-year span. So right now I'm getting $142. They project out in 10 years, I'll be getting $395. And I can come over here and change that. So short term, I know that in 5 years, I should be getting roughly $220. If I want to look long term, 25 years out, I know that I'll be getting roughly $2,500 a year. So just some changes, some different things to look at. And then what I have fallen in love with is the upcoming dividends. So I don't like this chart so much. I don't like it because it just kind of gives you a general. What I do like is coming down here though and looking at my stock payout calendar each month. It tells me how much I'm going to get each month. That's why I know I've beat my $10. This is 9/17, 11/43, and 16/13. Now, the reason they're all different is because there are some that pay dividends during like these. Oh, PNNT pays a quarter, so it won't pay the next 2, but this one has a couple quarters, like AT&T is in here, ORCC is in here. Oh, that's it. And then this is what holds the majority of my quarterly dividends. So I like this view because I can now come in and say, okay, this is about how much I'm going to be getting and go from there. And then the calendar. So although I've said I have received 0 dividends this month, this I bought after the beginning of the month, so I didn't earn this. This one I bought too late, so again, I didn't get this one, and my first projection is to get it on the 21st. But when I look at next month, I have made it to where I get a payment this week, this week, this week, this week, and the next week. So November's looking pretty good. So once I can get enough stocks, I actually could earn a weekly paycheck off of this. Down here tells me dates that payments are expected to be received when they come out, what the ticker is, the amount per share, and then the total. So this gives me a different kind of a look, which I like. If you'd like a little bit more information on how I use Track Your Dividends, let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to do something with a little bit more depth on how I use Track Your Dividends. But that's a snapshot of where I am and where I'm going. If you haven't already, again, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button below, hit the bell for notifications, thumbs up if you've enjoyed my video, and I'd love to hear any stocks that you might be interested in. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey as I start to share my dividends passive income and starting at basically $1 a month and seeing where I can get, and I can't wait to see where I'm going to get in a year, but I can't wait to share with you when I can finally get a weekly passive income and I don't have to go to work anymore. That's the real goal. So thank you so much for joining me today on Managing My Money with Rosa. I appreciate your time and I can't wait for you to come back. Bye.